You'll have heard me say this all the time if you've watched any of my other videos or you've listened to the podcast. It is relatively low cost. It's no money down. You'll hear this all the time, no money down, no money down. It's not a no money down strategy or anything. And to be quite honest with you, whilst property investing can be done on a budget, I would say that people out there saying no money down deals is getting a bit out of hand. There's always money involved. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to be your money. So you could put a flip on that and say, well, I've done an investment. I had an investor that brought in X amount of money. We've got hold of the property and we've done this. None of my own money, no money down. All right, I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, you've got to make sure that you know what you're doing, particularly if you're using other people's money as well. Of course, you don't want to lose your own, but it is a relative low-cost setup. I've never paid for a deposit. I've never paid for a refurbishment on any of the properties that I've done rent-to-rent deals on. And I've built up a successful rent-to-rent portfolio over the last 4 years that's completely replaced my income. It helped me to stay out of the day job. I took voluntary redundancy. But if you're looking at replacing the bosses, getting out of the 9 to 5, then rent-to-rent is a great strategy for that. But likewise, maybe you've already done it, but you're starting to find cash flow is difficult. Maybe you're doing some developments, all your money's going into that and being recycled out of that and into the next deal, into the next project. You really want to go low cost in what you're doing. We want massive gains for the returns. We want good cash flow coming through. So what I say with low cost is it will cost you a few £100s to set the properties up, to start them out. Now, if you go for existing HMOs, that's houses of multiple occupation that already have licenses, that are already functioning as HMOs, then the cost is even less because all of the work's been done for you. Those are the types of properties that I target, because I don't want to be buying furniture packs on HMOs. I don't want to be putting in fire alarms and all the safety procedures that you need. I'd rather walk into a property that has already had all of those things done. And if you do that, and that's what I show people how to do on the Rent to Rent Business Builder, you bring their costs down at the beginning so that you'll be able to get hold of these properties and you'll be able to momentum invest and you'll be able to grow your property portfolio quicker. You'll be able to grow your rent-to-rent business a lot quicker. So I do budget and spend a couple of £100 on in each property, and that's normally for dressing that we can store at the property to advertise our rooms. Now, if you're doing serviced accommodation, and of course we go through all of this of how to make it as cost effective in the ultimate serviced accommodation business builder training program, and we even share with you our power teams and things, you probably will have to buy some furniture. A lot of the time we're getting single let, buy to let properties, maybe they're unfurnished. We have to put some of the furniture in there, and we have to, of course, make them look nice as well. It does depend on the clientele that you're looking at having. I love working with contractors over holiday makers, over that sort of market. I would rather have contractors in my properties that are there Monday to Friday predominantly than I would families or even potentially people that are going to go in there and try and have parties and wreck the place. So if you have contractors, you want it to be comfortable. You do still want it to be nice, but it doesn't necessarily have to be at a massive cost to you. And of course, work with the budget that you have. If you don't really have much of a budget, get yourself educated, because you will save a fortune. If you try and piece it together, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube and reading books, you're going to make costly mistakes. You're going to make more mistakes than probably you would have spent on some decent, solid training. And we have that for you if you need it, but do your due diligence. If you go to anybody for the training, make sure it's right for you. But anyway, a low cost is what it's all about for us. We don't want to be spending a lot of money on properties that we do not own. And when you do rent to rent, you don't own the properties. So if the landlords aren't willing to spend any money on the properties to bring them up to a good level, I would think twice about doing it yourself, unless that deal really cash flows well. But we will have to put a few pounds into the deal. So just be aware that it's not no money down, it's very minimal money down.